Hello, everybody. It's been a while since we've been together. Welcome to 2023, and we're so excited you're here. Let me go ahead and get the presentation up, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, so welcome to Stories of Hope 2022 highlights, and we are so excited you are here. So to kick off, we wanted to revisit some of the products that were new to you in 22. And one of those is our infamous Soul Royal. And so this was a testimony that was shared earlier in the year. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that off of YouTube. Just give me 1 second. Hold on, technical difficulties. And then we're going to hear from Debbie. Can get out of here. There we go. All right.
For that, I've been using Soul Royal since it came out in January, right? So we're going on just about 10 months of using this product. And I noticed that when I stopped taking it, my knees stopped working as well as they had been working. And so that's the real testimonial. The real testimonial is great. I mean, we're all girls, right? We love the nice hair. We love having the pretty skin. I love when somebody says, you said, how old are you? I said, I'll be 63. No, you don't look 63. That's great. Who's going to say no to that? But when the people who know me for real say, oh my gosh, what are you doing? You're walking better. That is the real testimonial. Even my brother said to me, don't forget to take your Royal. I want to see you walking the way you used to walk. And I would love to dance with you guys at the next convention, because that's the next big goal. Is I dance, I could sway from side to side, but the real goal is to dance the way I used to dance, because this kid right here used to be a gymnast and a ballerina, and I was an award-winning ballroom dancer. And so I love to dance. And it was very local. It wasn't on the national scale. It was very local, but I loved it. And I miss dancing like that, dancing with that energy, which I know I'll get to, because like I said, I can tell the difference when I'm walking. And I will show you that I have only had one finger kind of really be affected by the arthritis, not the others. The others have not curved in. And I know I was able to stop that dead in its tracks, because this was starting just before. And I think Val remembers, because Val was sitting with me at the table when I asked her to just do a little testing and feel this finger. This was the only one that was really starting to curve. And we were just launching. Actually, we hadn't even launched the product yet, but we were talking about all the great ingredients that it had. And I just couldn't wait. And I've just been taking it, and I love it. It tastes great. And the way I use it, you guys, is I just put in some fresh frozen berries, some water, and we put it in the blender. And if I'm feeling really, really great, I might throw an Excel in there, or sometimes a Renew. If I take it in the afternoon, I always use my Soul Megas, my Longevity, and my Soulflex PI with it. And so that's my key to looking like you had a facelift. And if you have arthritis, that's my key to making you feel better. And how many scoops a day am I using? I'm actually using 2 scoops a day. I take that twice a day. So okay. I take it in the morning, mid-morning, and I take it in the evening with my Renew. But I don't add fruit in it in the evening. And it's my mid-morning snack. It's kind of my lunch. When I put the fruit and stuff in it at nighttime, it's just in the shaker bottle, just the water and a packet of Renew and the Soul Royal. Anyway, I had my 2 minutes. I've actually spoken longer than 2 minutes. Love you guys.
Well, that is amazing. I am looking forward to dancing with.
All right. Wasn't that awesome? I don't know about you guys, but I think we would all love a facelift, and Soul Royal is pretty amazing. All right, let's hear from another one that is new to us in 22, and that was SoulFit GP. And this was one of our favorite testimonies from that, and this is Betty Runkle. So here we go.
And I wrote this in a post also, but I have to say that SoulFit GP has been the single most profound product for me personally since the beginning with Soul Vital, and since NeuroIM. Those two products were pretty substantial for me in taking my health to the next level. But this SoulFit GP came along, and I'd been struggling with metabolism, insulin resistance, metabolic stasis, just not able to ever get my metabolism revved up enough without stimulants that I would increase my body temperature and increase my burn rate. Even though I've worked out my whole life, I do all the right things. I eat right. I practice the 90-10 rule. SoulFit GP comes along, and all of a sudden, I'm not cold anymore. My workouts are not wearing me out. I've got energy, so I'm staying motivated. I'm staying in control of my health choices. And the biggest thing for me, though, and I don't even really have the words for it, except that, and if some of you know me, you know that I might be a little bit on the focus attention spectrum, and my desk is always a mess. My office is always just a total wreck. And my excuse was always to all my clients who come in and sit at my desk and they see this mountain of papers and just complete disarray is, oh, just think of me as the nutty professor. Can't find anything. I have to have everything out in front of me. That has completely changed for me. You can notice on the back, my shelves are organized. Normally those were stacked up with papers, research papers, all kinds of different things that I just was one day going to get to. But when I started GP, I started cleaning. I started letting go of things that I was really emotionally attached to, or that I was afraid to let go because I was afraid I wouldn't be able to find it again, or if I put it up or filed it away, then I wouldn't be able to find it. So for me, it's helped me stick to my exercise and nutritional program better than ever before. It's helped me to stay organized. It's lifted some brain fog for me, and it's helped me to keep my brain calm. I will tell you that this is the first time in my entire life, and I'm over 50, that my brain has been calm. And I didn't know that until we started with SoulFit GP. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, and I'm really excited. And in the process of the 8 weeks that I've been on it, I've lost 12 pounds, multiple inches all over my body without changing anything in my program other than adding SoulFit GP.
All right. That is just such an amazing, amazing story. So those were two of our big products that were new to you in 22. And I hope that you've had the opportunity to add that to your soul routine, because they certainly are amazing. So now we have the opportunity to hear from Miss Valerie to talk to us a little bit about why soul works. So Valerie, I'm going to hand over the control of the screen to you, and you can take it from here.
Oh, you're going to have to flip it back because it's disappeared. All right. So what I want to talk about is something I'm very excited about. And that is, whoop, we're waiting for it to come here because there's nothing up. There we go. Is why soul works. And many people know that I have been in this industry for over 4 decades. And so once I got a hold of these soul products, I quickly began to see some differences that really made them stand apart and above everything else. And the first thing is of the soul principles is the whole plant powders and extracts. And that's what I call my soul principle number 1. And these extracts are, because we focus on making certain that we have the whole plant powder and extract, we are getting the so-called checks and balances. A lot of people think that you just find that active part that's making the plant work and do its thing, that you have the essence of it and that you can get the benefit. Well, there are so many different intricacies that come about from yet to even be understood aspects in these plants and the synergy from them working together, that we find when we keep it in its full and whole state like this, that number one, we get better results. Number two, we're not dealing with the different types of side effects that would come with not having the checks and balances in. So checks and balances means that we have got all the safety mechanisms that are already built into the plant to help the full impact be realized from using these plants. And Soul doesn't cut any corners, doesn't take any shortcuts. It uses that whole aspect. That also keeps it to where it's incredibly safe, no matter what age I'm using it with. Soul principle number two. When we put these formulas together, we always keep a foundational approach in mind. And that is because regardless of the symptom that is presenting or why the person wants to take these products and the area that they're looking to improve, there is always a root cause that's underneath there, whether or not we're aware of it. You cannot truly address the symptom that's showing up and look for long-term change of a situation without getting and working on those roots. And with the adaptogens and the way we've built these formulas, all these formulas address the whole picture. So a simple way might be able to understand it, because no matter how hard we try, someone might be presenting with a headache, and if they're using allopathic medicine, they're thinking, oh, I just take a painkiller for the headache. Yeah, the pain disappears, but then we really look at what's causing it. So even if you have good intentions, people can do that when they're coming at this using alternative approach. Because we designed our formulas to look at the root issue regardless, that yes, we may be starting to get relief from that symptom that's presenting, but we're actually working for that long-term goal of getting a permanent relief or permanent change or increase in the health of the system so that we're not so prone to these issues. Which leads me perfectly into Soul principle number three, which has to do with the safety that's tied to the fact that these formulas are all adaptogen based. Adaptogens, part of the definition or determinant to let us know if it is an adaptogen is that this plant is safe to use regardless of the situation the person's in, the age, the health issues. They are so safe that I am absolutely comfortable using this with my grandchildren or a 90-year-old client that I might have. And because adaptogens always work at helping to bring the body into balance, it's helping an individualized approach happen naturally without you even having to know why and how that is occurring, because adaptogens help that body to normalize for what is ideal for it. Now, this Soul principle number four, I saw come about pretty quickly with my clients, because like I said, I've had a lot of years working with people and helping to improve their health. And one of the biggest challenges I was always up against was people would know that the protocol that we laid out was designed to help them. They would understand that it was designed to help them, but then they had to follow through and do it. Now, the unique thing with these Soul formulas, because of these adaptogens, what I very quickly saw was that people started feeling better emotionally and mentally. And because they were feeling better that way, they were more apt to stay on the program and follow through because they liked how they were feeling. They could see that result. Even if they hadn't gotten the result yet that they were going for, they got this phenomenal added benefit. And so naturally, if you're staying on top of things and taking your program, you are set up to succeed in a much better way. So all these products are designed to simultaneously address both the physical and emotional health issues at the same time. And so then And I also ought to point out that Soul was the first company to ever combine this and do this type of approach. So we, as we have been, we're very cutting edge. Soul principle number 5, I very much like, because the way we have designed the Soul protocols, the Soul categories, there's 4 categories: balance, lift, calm, and clarify. You can very simply look at an issue and be thinking, oh, okay, do I need to, I'm in a situation of overwhelm. Do I need to calm it down? Oh, I probably need some balance too. So you can look in those 2 different categories, find a product that is speaking to you, or and approach it that way and start to get results. This makes it extremely simple, no matter what type of background you have, whether you have a lot of credentials that are tied in the alternative health industry, or you're a mom that's just wanting to take care of your family. Once you learn this very simple 4-category system, which is also color-based, so we know that whether we're looking for green, blue, yellow, or red, we can solve and at least know that we're working the right direction to start to get relief. This also sets it up to make it very simple to whether or not you want to use an approach of having a product in each category. For instance, maybe all 4 of the foundational drinks, 1 drink for each category. You're getting a full, well-rounded approach to start to address the health. And all our protocols are designed very balanced. You can't go wrong. They're simple, safe to use, and easy to use. Our Soul principle number 6 has to do with consistency. One of the neat things that I saw was that the longer myself, my family, my clients were consistently using these Soul formulas, they got more and more benefits. So they didn't hit the ceiling of the benefits. They continued to get more. So here I am at 10.5 years of using these formulas, and I continue to recognize more benefits from these. Also, I don't need to take as much because of how I built up my health account. And that's one of the big keys in healing. We want to build up that health account that's often been overdrafted so that we can handle what life throws at us. And nobody is going to complain that I know of if they see that they continue to get more benefits when they're consistently using these formulas. And then finally, our Soul principle number 7, the power of the Soul collective mindset. So what this means to me is, once you get around the Soul family, and hopefully you see it in these presentations, you see it in the Stories of Hope group, you notice this heart of service that is in so many of these people. You can feel the love. It's palpable when we're together at an event, the hugs, the true caring that comes at people. You hear it out of our founder, Greg Halliday. He'll be speaking next. You hear it in all our founders. Everyone, it is so, will draw you in. You can't help be changed about it and walk away with a big smile and always want to come back. So in my mind's eye, these 7 Soul principles represent so well one of the reasons that Soul is such a big game changer in my lives and the clients that I work with.
Amen. You know, I don't know what my favorite part of that was, talking about the 4 categories, which are such a game changer and so simple, or just talking about the Soul community, because really, when we say that we're family, it is no joke. We really, really are family. So speaking of part of that family, we have the honor of having Greg, who is our president and founder. Greg, would you be willing to talk to us a little bit about the other things that were new to us in 22? The Soul Prime bonus was updated, and then also daily pay.
You bet, Kristen. And hello, everybody. It's great to be with you. If you don't mind, I'd love to just share a couple of thoughts too from a gift someone gave me. This is not a new book. It's called The New Professionals. I don't know if anyone's seen this. One of our Soul leaders, speaking of the family of Soul and just sort of building and strengthening each other, this was one of his favorite books, and so he gifted it to me. I was out doing a meeting. This was written 20 years ago, but it is pretty telling and very insightful, and they got so many things right. It was kind of written from a perspective of the state of our industry, which is companies that are direct to market. Sometimes you hear direct selling as a descriptor, or it could be network marketing. We look at it as a community-based and a community-structured organization. And the names are a little different from company to company, but the principle is the same. And the focus is on sharing all the information from product knowledge and how we can heal ourselves and our friends, to how we can empower ourselves, strengthen ourselves and our families now and in the future. All of that goes into soul. And the reason it's all into soul is because all of it plays a role in our mission. We can't just do part of it and leave part of it out. So I really liked this book because the authors in this book, they're actually leaders like yourselves and many of you who may be listening. They are not corporate individuals as we are. And they argued that the new professionals would be professionals that work on their own time, in their own place. That they were showed statistics of how what a high percentage of people working from home. This was 20 years ago, and they predicted that that would increase. Wow, huh? It's greatly increased. They were right. They also talked about why companies like ours were so well positioned and why we're spending so much time providing and building more infrastructure in Soul. So some of these new changes, I promise I'll mention here in a second, are because we view it as essential and we view it as the direction for the future for security. They show in their book how large companies in the past were viewed as more secure, and they're actually less, because very easily with great swaths of layoffs and great mergers and changes and affecting thousands upon thousands, really tens of thousands now because they're so big. And that people want to build a safer and a secure and a more secure future. Well, we think health is part of that. And there's an approach to health that is not fragmented, that's more holistic, that gives greater results. So that's what Soul's all about. I want to just read like two little quotes, okay? I dog-eared these for you, and then I'll tell about some of the new things and how they tie in that we did in 2022, because 2023, you will see some continued advancement in technology and in your ability to do what you want to do, which is direct and control the direction of your life and your health, and help others have that same information and power to do the same. So here's what they say. They really extol the virtues of being a new professional, which is a network marketing or a direct-to-market professional. They say that network marketing places the appropriate emphasis on person-to-person communication, relationship building, and the nurturing process. And that's the difference, they say, between sort of traditional, say 50 years ago, direct selling, which was all about the art of the sale. And for certain, that had to do with relationships and doing it right. But network marketing looks beyond to the continued relationship, not ending with each sale, but the network, building and strengthening each other, not just in the use of the product, which is life-changing, but also in how to structure your business from your home or wherever you happen to be, so that you can build a network that is resistant to all the change and the surprises that will inevitably come our way, and they just do. They're part of the macroeconomic landscape. So I liked that quote. Two other quotes. The role, this one might surprise you. The role of, I'm going to put soul in here, is to accelerate. They just say network marketing, but I'm going to insert soul. The role of soul is to accelerate the movement of products using the most efficient distribution technique, word of mouth. It is the role to accelerate. We can't wait in terms of people and the way they're dealing with their health. They can't wait. The more we deal in a fragmented approach, the more ingrained, I think Valerie will back me on this, that we'll call them imbalances get, these chronic issues. And a little bit longer it takes to bring that balance back, even with the wonders of adaptogens and their accompanying herbs. So the goal of setting up Soul the way we set it up is to accelerate that. It is the most efficient mechanism, this style of business, that exists. It doesn't pass through channel to channel to channel to channel and eventually to you and me. It comes directly from Soul, and we've invested the first thing I'll mention in 2022, it wasn't on your slide, but we've invested in controlling the great degree of our manufacturing processes in-house. There's been a huge investment in, and a lot of blood and sweat. Thankfully, no tears in doing that for the coming year. That's going to continue for us. That commitment won't change. I had one more quote to read you. I got to see if I can find it because I underlined it. Here it is. This is 20 years ago. Think about 20 years ago. Social media did not exist 20 years ago. Unlike direct sales channels, unlike other sales channels, say these authors, network marketing will not only survive the e-commerce revolution, but will thrive because of it. Now, they got quite a few things right. It's funny to see because nobody's all seeing. And they have some other things in here where they look at certain companies and directions that didn't pan as they thought 20 years ago, but their general principles and those that we're involved in were right on. So this takes us to some of the changes this year. I think that the slide that you were showing there, Kristen, a couple of things in this year that we did were reflections of developments in technology to greater harness the power of e-commerce. And I wouldn't say just e-commerce, I would say e-relationships. It sounds weird to say it that way, but the whole way we connect, because remember this book that I'm quoting, social media didn't even exist when they wrote it. And it's added a whole new wrinkle. So a lot of what we did in Soul Prime is one of our programs that we use, and we tweak it each year to give the greatest result to the recipient and to the mentors. It was simplified. One great part of Soul Prime is in the first 2 to 3 months of a person's journey here in Soul, it doubles for them, double Prime. So it's changes like that, making that transition to a new professional, to the direction we see the world going, easier and a little more evident and a little more clear. I think that some people need to see more clarity earlier on than others. Some are a little more patient than others. And so Soul's goal, both with our products because of adaptogens and with some of our changes, is to provide more insight sooner for people so that they can take courage, stick with it, listen, and continue to learn in this nurturing and relationship building business, because it is well worth it. It is where the trends are going. The second point that was on that slide was our 2022 edition, which really was at the very end. It's really a 2023 change, and that is that we calculate those enrollment bonuses. We call them Soul Quicks. That's just a special bonus for the first time. When a person places that first order, it's a little higher for the mentor, and it provides an opportunity for someone who's willing to get in, become a new professional, so to speak, to be able to see that success early and realize this is something that can make a difference for me and that I can rely upon and that I can build upon. And so what we did differently, instead of weekly calculating those and sending those to what we call the Soul Wallet, that happens every night now. And so now a person's able to, depending on their level, they either can still weekly send that to their bank free of charge. We might be the only company that doesn't charge for that. As far as I know, all of them, they just charge you a fee and you can send it as often as you want to the bank. But we do that weekly without charge. And then, of course, daily, a person, if they would wish, they can use their commissions and purchase their products. And so that's something we want to do to accelerate the process. Again, that quote that I read, there is a goal of Soul to accelerate the delivery of products to the person, because this is something we think with the shipping and the technology and changes of today. What I mean by that is how much and how complete that in-home doorstep shipping has become, making that so that can happen right when a person needs it, with very little delay, with just a little bit of planning, and with the money to do that, the resources to do that. And so that's, hence the daily. There's a lot more planned this year. We'll be talking about it. Take an opportunity, if you're new and listening, here in a couple of weeks. It's like, I want to say 2 weekends, right? We have our Soul Kickoff, and you can hear some more. But each time we gather as a Soul family, you can count that there will always be something, because this is there is a lot of excitement, I would say right now. You could say there's a lot of challenge, but I also think there's a lot of excitement because that always comes with challenge. There's movement and there's opportunity for us to be there and to improve the processes and really accelerate how we help people. Anyway, I hope that helps, Kristen. Back to you.
It absolutely does. And one of the things that I've always loved about Soul is how you guys flex and mold and grow and adapt. It must be the adaptogens with us and with the change of things. And I'm so excited, and there is a ton of excitement, which, speaking of being excited, I know we're going to have our kickoff in a couple weeks, but is there an overall hope for 2023, an overall goal for 2023 that you're willing to share? Just a little sneak peek of?
Well, we'll share more in the kickoff, but let me just tell you, we're deeply committed to the evolution of resources, technology, and the sharing of information. If I could simplify it, I would say it this way. I would hope that everything we learn as a company, everything, this is now in our 4th decade in the industry, can just straightly be passed on and heard by everyone in every home. I don't believe you have to be a scientist to be able to hear certain things. In fact, it always bothered me that there are private room discussions. I realize that there's times to work through things and get understanding, but there is a ton being learned about these wonderful herbs, about ways we can help ourselves. And I also think there's more and more being being developed on how we can connect, communicate, help, empower people, provide an avenue for someone to live the way that they want to live and putting time where they consider it most valuable. And so those are deeply held, almost ethical maxims for me, and are reasons that really drive me spending time here. You're all here too, and this is we have our kids home today too because it's a holiday. But we did have a wonderful lunch together, so never fear. We got some time together. But this is what drives us with Soul, because I believe deeply in that, because I know what a difference it makes, and I wish that we could push a button and have everyone get a chance to hear. Just get a chance to hear it. So one of our goals is to get better at how we use technology and how we empower. And one of the ways we'll do that this coming year is working directly and looking and listening, listening to, working with all of our leaders, seeing what transformations you're seeing in behaviors of others and what things we can do to help them really and reach them. So there's lots on the table. That's just not going to change in any given year, especially this one. So we'll keep giving you some wonderful announcements.
Well, thank you for that. And I have to agree, if we could just, send a sample of Vital or Cinemate to every household, and just have them experience how great they feel, wouldn't that be just the best thing ever? Well, thank you, Greg. And I'm really excited about our kickoff too. Okay, so now we have the privilege of hearing from Corinne. Corinne this year hit a huge accomplishment of hitting the highest rank in the company. She is one of the most humble people I know about this, but she's a pretty big deal. And so take out your notebooks and get ready to listen to Corinne.
Oh, Kristen, I am so honored to be here tonight. And, seeing my name on there with the Soul 800K, I know 10 years ago, I don't even know if there was even ranks talked about when I first joined this whole business. And so it is very humbling for me to be there at that rank. But I just want to share, for the last 10 years, I've had the opportunity to be part of Soul Naturals. I remember when I first started, I just wanted to feel better, and I wanted to help my clients and my family members feel better. And I was sure surprised when within just a few months of my soul journey, I was making enough to pay for my own product. Then not much longer after that, we were paying for my family's product too. All of this by simply sharing my own personal results and those of my clients. Then if you will, let's fast forward a few years, because that is just what we did we just shared. Then if you will, let's fast forward. There were many other amazing financial benefits that came along the way. There were things like car bonuses and amazing vacations that I would just dream about before. And now actually have had the opportunity to go on several different places like Costa Rica. I believe this will be my 4th time that Soul will take me to Costa Rica. It's so exciting. It's one of my favorite places. We've been to Cancun several times, Hawaii, a Caribbean cruise, just to name some of the places that we've been able to travel to because of Soul. Abundance comes in many different forms. It's not just the monetary value, but it's relationships. And as we've been listening to people throughout tonight, relationships were talked about, the community, the people, the family that we've made along the way. That is priceless to me. That is so much more important than any dollar value that I could place anything on. My kids have been able to travel with us, and we've been blessed enough to have our Soul family reach all over the US, Canada, and then into Mexico. And it's just so amazing that we just keep growing. One amazing experience that has happened this last year was the opportunity to go in and pay cash for a new car when we needed it. I love my Soul car. I have a Yukon XL. I loved my car and had some car problems. And we were getting ready to go to Bryce Canyon with Soul. And I found myself in a dilemma. My car was in the shop and it was still having some problems. The mechanics couldn't figure it out. And my husband said, just go get a new car. Just go get a new car. So I walked into the dealership and drove this car. We ended up getting a 2022 Hyundai Palisade, and we love the car. We've also chosen to keep the other car too. So now we have 2 Soul cars, and I love it. When we go on trips with all of us, we take the big car, and when we go on smaller trips, we'll take the Hyundai. But super, super blessed to be able to have the means to be able to do that because of Soul. I've also reflected over the last few years and the many amazing experiences and adventures that we've had with Soul. I know that there's a lot of emphasis and focus on all the positive things, but I need to share, there's lots of struggles, and there's times where I thought, maybe should I give up? Is what I'm doing really worth it? Maybe I don't have anything to share with anyone anymore, but I'm so glad I didn't listen to those doubts and fears that seem to creep up. And I didn't give up. One of my favorite business quotes that I heard over 25 years ago, which is when I first started in the industry, it was a quote from Zig Ziglar. And he said, the major difference between the big shot and the little shot is the big shot is just the little shot who kept on shooting. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think I'm a big shot. I just know I'm a little shot that keeps shooting. And I know that if each one of us keeps shooting with our Soul business and taking those different products on a daily basis, I know that we're going to be exactly where we need to be. I think that sums it up. The last, one of my dear friends summed it up perfectly for me. She said, you've had a decade-long journey with so many wonderful benefits and blessings along the way. I'm so grateful for Soul and the role that it plays in me and my family's life.
Oh, Corinne, thank you. I think we need a round of applause for that. And just for the record, I think you are a pretty big deal. You are a big shot. But I love that analogy, and watching you grow and having you as my mentor has just been an honor. You are just amazing and deserving of the title of Soul Elite 100K. So speaking of the Soul family, and speaking of what Corinne said about a big shot is just a little shot that just keeps taking shots, that's exactly what starting your business is like. It is just the process of sharing your journey with other people and continuing to do that year after year, day after day. And we would love to have you join the Soul family. One of the changes that came about in October was we do have new specialist kits. I call it a business in a box. It literally is everything that you need to know. And if you haven't got the gist yet, all of us will be here to guide you through starting your business. And we'd love to have you so that you could start that trickle effect as well and start taking those little shots. as Corinne mentioned, we have the opportunity to go to various different exotic, amazing locations. We're right smack in the middle of qualifications for what we call Soul to Soul. This year is Costa Rica. It is not too late to jump in. You could still join, you could still come, and we would love to have you there. So if you want some more information on that, reach out to whoever invited you. And we're always looking for more testimonies and stories and experiences. And so if you're willing to share your story, reach out to whoever added you, invited you, or reach out to any of us. We would love to hear from you. And that's it. So this is a wrap of 2022, moving into 2023. And I think this year is going to be the best year ever. Thanks, guys, for joining us.